The judge came to me afterwards and they're like, so you lost? I was like, it sucks.
Yeah.
And he goes, well, you lost because you're a woman. I was like, excuse me? I'm like, are you telling me this because you believe that to be true or because you're kind of being horrible to me right now? He goes, the moment you walked into this place, you were the only woman, all the judges were men, and the second you walked in, you lost.
We're in a business meeting with a local businessman. During this meeting, the gentleman across the table from me will not look at me, he will not talk to me, he will absolutely not acknowledge any of my thoughts or my ideas or what I'm saying. And it became unbelievably clear about halfway through the meeting that his disrespect for me was solely because I was a woman.
So when you see me, you see Candace, you see the brand, you know, LLC Cigars. And cigars is such a manly thing. It's always been that way for years.
Yeah.
So when I go into different cigar lounges, you know, they don't expect to see me. They expect to see a man behind it.
You're always gonna have people going, did she write all her own songs? Talking about your personal life, talking about your dating life. There's a different vocabulary for men and women in the music industry, right?
Give me an example.
Okay, a man does something, it's strategic. A woman does the same thing, it's calculated. A man is allowed to react, a woman can only overreact.
What is your name and occupation?
So my name is Dr. Flores, and I'm Instructional Dean of Communication Arts here at Diamond Bar High School.
Camille Buckley, head girls basketball coach here at Diamond Bar, and I'm a social studies teacher.
Have you ever encountered challenges and or barriers in your career because of your gender?
There was one instance that stands out that was really challenging and difficult to navigate at the time. And this was in my former school district some years back. And I was working as a lead, what they call a lead teacher during the summer. So I had taken on extra work during the summer with the university. But I was still a full-time teacher during the regular school year. And this extra work involved that I would go out to different school sites and I would do observations of teachers. And so I went to this one school, visiting there, had never been there before. And it was part of our protocol and the way that we did things that I would introduce myself to the administrator who was there on campus during the summer. It just so happened that this administrator was the principal of the school at the time. You know, many times administration, they continue on in the summer. And he immediately invited me in and we engaged in some small talk, and it was good. I let him know, you know, what I was there to do, the role of the university, how I was there to support teachers, things like that, if there was anything about the school that he needed me to know. And then the conversation kind of shifted, and it shifted to a compliment on my blouse. And at first it seemed like it was innocent enough, but my inner voice was telling me something seemed a little off because everything was very professional and about responsibilities and things like that. But his compliment of me and my appearance, specifically my blouse, kind of made me uncomfortable. So I deflected. I said thank you, but I deflected and changed the subject right away. Then the conversation turned into more of all the different ways that the principal could help me. Which I felt, I just was unsure of where the conversation was going. One aspect of it that in my mind is clear is there was a comment made about my appearance, whether it was specifically how I looked or it was a blouse or it was a skirt or whatever it was, there was a comment made about my appearance. And then from going to that to, you know, all the different ways that he could help me, the juxtaposition of those two things made me uncomfortable, and I didn't quite really know what to make of it. I think immediately when I left that situation, I really took on the burden of that conversation, meaning that I questioned, did I do something? Did I communicate something that I wasn't intending on communicating? And I really took that on as though it was my responsibility. It wasn't until really having a conversation with a supervisor that really helped me to see that there was nothing that I did in that moment, and whether it didn't matter what the principal's intention was, the fact was the impact and the outcome. And the impact and outcome was that I was uncomfortable. And that was really something that had nothing to do with my role there. And so for that reason, it just made me uncomfortable, but I was able to move past that time. So
I feel like everybody encounters challenges in one way or another, and gender is always, like, I don't want to say at the forefront of it, but can be at the forefront of it. I feel like as a teacher, we expect women to be teachers. Like, this is what we expect. So that wasn't a challenge at first. My challenge was when it came to basketball and coaching, because it's kind of male dominated if you really think about it. A lot of male coaches are coaching women's sports. And so that was a challenge. So when it came to getting a head coaching job, and I was like, might be something I want to pursue, there were times where I got beat out by somebody who was a male. And I mean, it was unfortunate, but I never give up on my dreams. So if it's something I want to do, and I really, really want to do it, and it's not something I need to pivot off of, then we're going to figure out a way to get it done.
Wow, great answer.
Thanks.
Have you ever experienced your authority or expertise being questioned because of your gender?
For sure. I feel like, not just as a teacher, because I carry myself a certain way so that I don't get challenged by like students or like players, anything like that. But obviously there's more respect. If a man tells you something, it's taken better sometimes than when a female says something. So I've been in situations, whether it be coaching or even with students, where if I said something, and again, I carry myself a certain way, that it wasn't as respected as if somebody else who was a man said it. And then now as a woman, I'm like, well, dang, I can't be respected out here. Like, now I have to come off a little bit harder, which I don't want to do. Especially as a female, like, I want to be seen a certain way, but I had to be a little bit more aggressive and a little bit more stern, which is seen as like masculine, just so I can be respected.
So it was just a good opportunity. It was a valuable learning lesson about really listening to my intuition, listening to my inner voice, because I also tried to downplay that too. Oh, Nicole, you're imagining things. Oh, it wasn't really that way. And I've since learned, just through different life experiences, I'm now in my 50s, so I've had some life experience that inner voice is powerful. And I think a lot of times as women, we question ourselves maybe a little bit too much, instead of relying on that gift of intuition that we have to be able to read situations and know when things are not right. And it doesn't matter if the reason why they're not right. The bottom line is that they're not right. One of the things that I'm starting to do in my life now is to really to look to others who might have knowledge and wisdom in areas that I don't have, and to seek their guidance and their mentorship. That has really been invaluable for me at this particular season of my life, both personally and professionally. I've also taken recently steps to invest in myself, invest in my well-being, and that has made a tremendous difference in my outlook, in terms of just my inner strength that I feel as a result of the steps that I'm taking. So I think in terms of advice, any time that you can take actions or participate in any activity that helps you to become the best version of yourself, you can never, ever go wrong.
I push myself, again, in everything that I do, whether it be as a student, as a teacher, as a coach. I'm always trying to dissect things that I do wrong so that I can be better. And I want that for the people that I mentor, the students that I interact with, the players I interact with. I'm modeling what I would like them to do as well. So just not giving up, being resilient, and understanding that like life isn't easy, stuff isn't gonna just be handed to you. So if you don't approach it in a way that you're gonna get what you want by any means necessary, legally, then you're gonna have a hard term in life. So. I've said this to my players before, and I don't know, it could be taken in a different way, but I'm gonna say it because this is what I believe. Be an alpha. So whatever you do, you have to carry yourself in an alpha way, meaning be strong, be assertive, get what you gotta get. Don't let anybody tell you that you can't because of your gender, because of your race, because of whatever. Like, go get what's yours.